Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone. So I am going to be starting in just a little while. So consider this the pre-show. Just give us a few more minutes. And okay, we are just about to go live. I'm Ekene Anu, and I want to say thank you guys for joining us. Just give me a few minutes. You know how technology goes. I know I probably made a funny face there, right? Okay, let's go. Let's get on back down. All right, here we go. All right, thank you guys for joining us, and I'm expecting a couple more people in there. I think you can see the chat message, the chat box. Feel free to type in any questions, any comments. The way this is going to go is I'm going to share a couple of things. I will share my screen, and I have a bit of a PowerPoint just to help with the visuals, right? And I'll go through the 10 things that we need to be thinking about when we're thinking about our vision boards, our resolutions, etc. I'll share my vision board, and then I will hang out and we can chat if you guys want to, have questions, comments, so on and so forth. So let me start by saying who I am. My name is Ekene Anu. And if you have never been to a Refresh event before, I run a company called Refresh with Ekene, and basically we do lifestyle and personal and professional development. We have a mix of coaching, media, and our best things are our events. We have great experiential learning opportunities that are really fun, and you'll see why when we start looking at my vision board. I know it's backwards, but I'll tell you what it says, so please bear with me. Anyway, so I started Refresh a few years ago. We have been now around since 2011. My first Refresh event was 2011, and literally put it together in 6 weeks. From the thought to the actual implementation. And really the process of going through that is kind of part of what I'm going to be sharing today. Some of the ahas that I had when I looked back at how did I go from A to B when I started actually going, and what stops people from getting there. I recently did a talk earlier this year, and I asked a question. I said, and the talk I think was called Ready, Set, Win. And I asked a question in the room. I had a couple of sessions, and in each session I would ask, how many people have made vision boards or goal statements or, you know, resolutions, that sort of thing. I'm having a vanity moment here, so please bear with me. I asked how many people have done that, and people said, yeah, they've done it. Then I asked, I said, let's get really honest. How many of us have vision boards and so on that have not yielded any fruit, have not come to pass, nothing's been manifested? Can we just be honest about that? And a few hands just started to go up. And eventually a couple more people started getting really real and saying, yeah, you know, it hasn't worked for me. So I wanted to share some of the things that cause us not to be able to manifest our goals. We all have these great goals, especially around this time of year. We're constantly thinking about what are we going to do differently in 2015, most of us anyway. And some people actually have become so deadened. They're so used to not, like, they make resolutions and they break them. They set goals and never really accomplish them. So they just come to a place where they give up altogether. And I don't want that to be our plan, our way of approaching this thing, because there are some steps that are there are some simple things that hold us back from accomplishing our goals. They're basic things, right? They're simple, but they're not necessarily easy. And I've identified 10 points that I feel like if we are looking at these 10 points critically, as we are building our vision boards or our vision statements, goal statements, or whatever you want to call it, strategic planning, whatever it is you do, as you are planning for the future, there are sort of 10 things that you need to be looking at, thinking about, and we're going to go through those 10 things. Before we do that, I would like to share with you some of the things on my board, right? And you can't see a lot of the text, it's backwards, but I'll point it out to you. So my board is not a typical vision board. It's kind of more for me a visual representation of my goals. That's the best way I can put it. Because it's not technically, I don't have pictures of cars and houses and stuff like that. A lot of people have the kind of life they want to lead. I have more the kind of woman I want to be and the kind of work I want to do. So a lot of the pictures are action pictures. And I know you can't really see it that well, but let me point out some of the things. So I have this picture of Goldie Hawn, and it's from Bazaar, and it says, fabulous at any age, at every age is what it says. So that's the woman I want to be. I'm 41 right now, and I love it when people say, you don't look 41. And I say, great. I don't plan on looking 41, whatever 41 looks like, right? I plan on looking like myself, my best self, every possible day. So fabulous at every age is on here. I have Charm School, and I have in here an action where they're actually having the women walk with books on their heads. And funny enough, in my high school, we get a little of that. I have Stylish Host. You can't see that in the corner, but it's a little fuzzy, but there's a bunch of women sitting around, and there's candles and there's food, and they're bonding and they're talking. And the interesting thing about that picture is that picture could very well be Exhale, which is one of our events that we have. We actually just had it here we just had it in Dallas, and it was amazing. It was just amazing. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick look at something. So that is, I guess, a visual representation of a goal that has come to pass. I have on here a workbook that I had worked on, and this was the cover, and now that workbook is available. It's sold, it's selling, but I still have on here that I want a best-selling book. So that's still a goal that I'm working on for 2015. What else do I have on here? Oh, I have this great evaluation sheet. This, at all of our events, most of them, the big ones, we always give live evaluations. And if we don't, we normally will send an email saying, please let us know how we're doing and what we could have done better. So I got this sheet, and this sheet really touched me because they're always anonymous. So I don't know who says it, right? But she filled out all the stuff, and you can see, right? She filled out all the things and all the things she wants more of, and gave us some comments. And at the end, right, there's no space to write. She decided to give me a little extra note. And when I read this, I cried. I cried because it says, and I'll read it to you. It says, thank you for saving my life. These past few weeks, I contemplated death, but now I want to live. God bless. Even now, I get kind of emotional when I read that. I put that up there because when I work, and anyone who's an entrepreneur, anyone who's ever started trying to do something new, you will hit up against resistance, you will go through tough times. There are days you're going to feel like giving up. I have had those days. And so it's stuff like this that reminds me that a great value in what we're doing, in the work that I'm doing, in the effort that I'm putting forth, and it drives me to reach a new level of excellence each time. So, okay. So we are talking about our vision boards, and I shared with you some of the things on the vision board. And a lot of people send me emails. I wanted to do this because, especially around this time, like I said, people get frustrated. And a lot of people send me emails or notes saying, gosh, I'm just out of sorts and I don't know what to do, or I'm frustrated, or I'm stuck. And they say I'm stuck in different ways, but essentially they're saying, I'm stuck. I just feel like I can't win. I try this, it doesn't work. You know, I don't have enough support. I don't have enough money. There's so many reasons that they've put forth as to why they can't move forward into the life that they really want. And if you know my story, you will understand that I understand what massive change looks like, because I told you guys this business is about 3 years old. And before that, I was a pharmacist. And I really did feel stuck. I was a pharmacist for almost 20 years. I never loved it, right? And God bless all the pharmacists, right? Because I think each person has their calling. It was not my calling. I was not loving the work. The only piece that I really loved was the ability to talk to people and connect to them and sort of meet some of their needs. That was me. And that's what I'm doing now with Refresh. So I took the best out of that and I built something else. I left. It took a lot of courage to change the status quo. And I thank God for the support that I have. My family, my friends, my husband, there are a lot of people that have risen up to support me in this process. But I had to take the first step. I had to do the first bit of work. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do you go from writing down your vision board, your vision statements, or making your vision board? How do you go from creating that and actually manifesting it? What are some of the top 10 reasons that people don't do it? People don't go forth. People don't change. People don't see transformation. So some of the major things that happen are that, I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly. And I'm hoping we won't have any technology issues. And if we do, I promise I will figure it out. We always figure it out. So here we go. So I'm going to share with you some of the 10 reasons that we struggle sometimes. The 10 reasons we can't always keep our resolutions. The 10 reasons we don't always meet our goals and we don't manifest our vision boards. All of these things are great tools for success. But there are some things that stop us. And so let's take a look at it. So number one, our goals are not our true, authentic goals. And you might think, what does that mean, right? How can I possibly, I'm telling you, I know my goals. So how can I not have, how can it not be my authentic goal? Well, the thing is that most of us are kind of stuck. Let me rewind. Say you go to a vision board party and it's fun and it's fabulous and there are tons of beautiful women cutting out things and they're talking about their goals and maybe some of them have had great success. And you're sitting in there and people are talking about $1 million dreams and you really are not that girl. Maybe you're more, you want to be home with your kids. But you're in an environment where everybody's talking about high boss chick, high power, and you get caught up in that. And somehow you start thinking that your goals aren't good enough. You get caught up in groupthink. Maybe you're a people pleaser. And next thing you know, you start changing your mind about what you really want. That's sort of a broad thing, which is, sometimes I think when you go to a vision board party, it's fun, it's great. There's a lot of energy in the room, great inspiration. But when you get back home, take another look at it. And if you need to change it completely, do that. Because you really should be the only one dictating what you want. So I said that was the first thing. Our goals are not our true, authentic goals. A lot of the time, especially if you set a goal over and over again and you don't meet it. If you say, oh, I want to be skinny, and you keep sabotaging yourself, Now, there's a couple of things there, right? Don't say, oh, well, I can have said, but it's possible that maybe somewhere deep down inside, it's not an authentic goal for you because you have a hidden belief. You may have a hidden belief that if I lose this weight, something bad is going to happen. Or you may have a hidden belief that says, I'm not worthy of this particular goal. So the first reason why we set goals that are not true to ourselves are that a lot of times our goals are to please other people. We want to fit in, we want approval. The second reason is sometimes we have these hidden beliefs. And the third thing that causes us not to have these great goals is that sometimes we have fears. We have fears that hold us back, fears that say, if I do it, if I do really well, then I'm going to lose. I've met women who are deep down inside afraid of great success because they think that if they achieve great success, it would threaten their relationships. I mean, can we just be really, really real? Some people are afraid. They know. Maybe they have husbands who are maybe slightly intimidated. So they hold themselves back. Some people have been taught that as women, you have to hold yourself back. You shouldn't go full throttle. Some single women hold themselves back because they feel like if I'm too amazing, I won't get my husband. I mean, like I said, can we be really real? So there are a couple of reasons why we set these goals. We say these are our goals, but they're not authentic goals. So we either set goals that are contrary to what we really want, or we set goals that are too small. Whatever it is, we're not setting true goals. So I really want to encourage you to begin to think about the first question. Is what's on my board what I really want? Is what's on my goal statement what I really want? Is it really true to me? That's the first thing I want you to begin to think about. Is it really true to me? And that is the fix. That's the fix. The fix is to have a girlfriend moment with your soul. You have to begin to listen to your true inner self. What do you really want? Sometimes the voices around you are so loud you can't actually hear yourself. So I want you to begin to listen to yourself. Take time to be alone. Introspection is very, very important. If you want to be successful, if you look at the successful people you will see that a lot of them spend a little bit of time alone, strategic time alone, so they can hear their own voices and understand what they really want. I always say this thing that you are your own guru. So have a girlfriend moment with your soul. And then the second thing is consider whether or not you have fear. And if you have fear, name your fear. Name your fear, because a lot of times we refuse to acknowledge that we have fear. Well, here's the thing. If you don't acknowledge that you have fear, then you can't deal with it. And if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. So you have to begin to acknowledge that you have fear. A lot of cultures believe that once you name something, you can control it. So I'd like to invite you to consider, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of failure? Do I think that if I fail, then something terrible is going to happen? Everyone's afraid of failure. You have to learn to get past that particular fear. You have to learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Some women are afraid of success, like I talked about. Name it. Am I afraid of success? Am I afraid that if I become the successful woman I'm supposed to be, that somehow I'm going to lose something? I've heard I remember when I was single, I had people tell me things like, oh, you don't want to buy a house. There's some women that have been told, don't get a PhD, don't do whatever, because if you go to that highest level, particularly when you're single, that you're not going to find a husband or something like that. You're going to be too intimidating, blah, blah, blah. The reality is, and this is what I tell women now, right? Having now sort of been living, and like I said, I'm in my 40s now. Listen, be your best, incredible self. Why? Because if you are walking on the path to purpose, then you will find the person that is walking the same path. And when you have that relationship, it'll be a relationship that has a lot more ease than just any sort of relationship, just for relationship's sake. So first reason why a lot of us don't accomplish our goals are, one, our goals are not authentic. They are people-pleasing goals. They are goals that come out of fear. They are goals that also sometimes come out of hidden beliefs. So you want to deal with those things. The second reason why sometimes we struggle with goals is that our goals are not purpose-directed. And what I mean by that is that, like I said, a lot of people have vision boards where they have cars and fancy houses and private jets and all of those great things, right? Those, I have nothing against great things or comfortable living, but those things are not really goals. They're outcomes of something that you do, right? Because you can say, I want to be rich. There are many ways to be rich, many of which will land you in jail. But if you have a plan, if you focus on what is my purpose, what am I here for, then you have more energy to drive you towards your goals. Goals that are not purpose-directed are devoid of meaning, and often they will demotivate you. So you can say, I want to lose weight so I can get into a bikini. I really understand the weight loss struggle. I really understand that struggle. I want to lose weight because I want to get into a bikini. Now that's a great goal. I've said that myself. I don't say bikini, I say shorts. I want to lose weight because I want to be in a pair of shorts. Well, let me just break it down. It is not that serious. At the end of the day, if it's between shorts and a spin class, sometimes if it's between sitting at home and not going to spin class and shorts, I might choose sitting at home, because it's not enough to want to just fit into a pair of shorts. It's not enough. Now, what is enough is recognizing that if I really work on my health, one, I'll have more energy. One, I will be more impactful to a broader group of people. So maybe that is a bigger why, right? Because it's connected to my purpose. My purpose is to see women living fully realized lives. I want to see women understanding and embodying holistic feminine leadership. I want to be a thought leader in this area. I want to be a teacher in this area. I believe that I was born to speak, encourage, empower, and educate. I know that's part of my calling. And so when I connect to my calling and then I connect all my goals to that calling, so even if I'm talking about money, if that money is connected to the calling, so I want more money so that I can have more impact. I have more money so I want more money so I can open more doors. I want more money so I can fund women. I can start a scholarship. Those are big purpose-directed goals. Let me give you a big clue as to whether or not your life has much purpose or not. If you are spending a lot of time in things that are distraction or sedation, what I call distraction and sedation, distraction is, you don't have time to think. You're never in your head. You're always out there. There's always something going on. You're super, super busy. That's a kind of distraction. Sedation is also, sedation is clear. Imagine something that makes you're not connected to yourself. Imagine being sedated, taking a pill or wine, too much wine or whatnot, what have you. You're woozy, you're kind of out of it. A lot of people spend time in a way that they're really out of it, very disconnected from their lives. And when that happens because your life isn't filled with meaning. And a life without purpose has no meaning. You have to connect to your purpose. If you want to begin to see transformational stuff happening in your life, you want to begin to see these amazing things manifest. When you see women, I was just reading Essence magazine, and there's a lady that I've chatted with her, and she's just this powerhouse, and she's in Essence this month talking about vision boards. And when you read her story, it's incredible. But I've talked to her. Her name is Lucinda, and she is so passionate and so connected to her truth. She's driven by purpose. So that's when you see things happening. It's purpose that drives you, because otherwise your why isn't big enough. You don't have enough energy. You don't have enough motivation. Your why is too small. I want a big car. I want a big house. it's not going to make you go the distance. It might drive you to a little bit. Like that's why you see a lot of people in the gym come January, February, I want to get hot. That will only take you till about March. And then right around March, April, they fizzle on out because it's not enough. So if you are not meeting your goals and you've checked your goals are authentic, then ask yourself, is my why big enough? And your why is only big enough if it is connected to purpose. So you want to check, why am I here? What am I here for? What was I born for? The bigger your why, the more motivation you have. The third reason why people don't often accomplish their goals is that they are not honest about where they are. So, what's a good for that? Oh, well, let's go back to weight loss again, because a lot of people that's one of the biggest resolutions people have. If you have not stepped on a scale and you are not honest about what's really going on, you could hire a trainer, you could hire a coach, you could hire everyone, you could get the best strategic plan, and you can say, I want to lose X amount of weight or whatever, but you're not being honest about where you are, who you are, and what's going on with you. So you're going to the gym, you're doing all those things, but at midnight, you're eating a whole chicken in the kitchen, creeping. You're not going to see any change. Why? Because you're not being honest with yourself. Honest, I have a chicken problem. I'm being funny, but you know what I mean? You have to begin to be honest about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, what's going on with you. You have to own it completely. This is where I am. I might even be a mess. Sometimes I say to my child, oh gosh, I feel like a hot mess. And my daughter, God bless her, she's like, well, no. She'll put her hand on my forehead and say, yeah, not a hot mess. Might be lukewarm. You have to be able to own it. Own where you are. Face your stuff. Deal. Because once you understand where you are, then you have the ability to fix it. Face your truth. Face your truth. So we talked about, are your goals authentic? Is your why big enough? Are you being honest about where you are? So number four reason why people struggle, and this is really quick and easy, is that your goals aren't concrete. Again, back to the vision boards that have pictures of things. So, I really think that it's more powerful when you have pictures of actions, because an action will get you the things. Things, that's the end result. Focus on the action that will get you what you want. Focus on the process. So a goal that says I want to be a millionaire is not really concrete. It's just out there. Make it concrete. Bring it in. What am I going to do to get there? Right? So make it, they say SMART goals. That's the best acronym for how to make your goals concrete. Make it specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it realistic, and make it timely. So put it in context. I want to be a millionaire through creating a business that focuses on empowering women through coaching, media, and events. That's me right there, right? And then make it measurable. Every year, so in 2015, I expect to do XYZ, and here is the income I expect to realize through that. Here's how I expect to get there, right? Make it attainable. I'm all about big goals. Big goals are great, but also you don't want your goals to be so big that you don't even know how it becomes impossible to think about how it's going to happen. It becomes overwhelming. Make your goals attainable, especially if this is your first go round in like audacious change. Choose a project that is doable. The more you do smaller, doable projects, the more confidence you get in yourself, and then you can make your goals bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes when you go big so quickly, it's very overwhelming. So make it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Put some borders around it. That will help you make your goals easily manifestable. I have just created 2 words. Wait, manifestable. I know it's another word, but you understand what I'm trying to say. It will make your vision board manifest. Okay, So we've talked about 4 things. Authenticity, the first one, now your goal's authentic. 2, what was the second one? The second one, I talked about the fact that your goals may not be purpose driven. They may not be purpose directed. The third thing we talked about, I have to go back to my notes. I just lost it. The third thing we talked about, are your goals not concrete enough? And then we also talked about you not being honest. Are we being honest about where we are? It's not just you, it's me too, because this is a real, everyone goes through this. I may have been able to conquer certain goals, and then other things I'll hit a higher level and I'll hit up against a lot of the same stuff. I'll have to work through it all over again. So the fifth thing, the fifth reason why we sometimes don't accomplish our goals. I feel like there should be a drum roll for this one. You have not invested enough. And don't tune out like people tune out in church when the pastor starts talking about offerings. Calm down. I do not want you to send me anything. But I want you to really ask yourself, have I put in what I expect to get out? So a lot of times we think that just saying that we want something is enough to make it come to pass. It's not. You see people who are successful and you see them and where they are and you want to be there overnight. Most of those women that you see there, it took blood, sweat, and tears. Overnight successes happen over years. You just don't see that part. And most of them, if you check the records, they have invested time, money, resources into creating this life that they want. So you put the vision board, you went to a vision board party or you did a vision board and Oprah said to do it or whoever said to do it and you did it and you think, yeah, I did it. So why isn't it happening? Because you may not have you invested enough into it? Have you done the work? Have you got the education? Have you made the contacts? So this is the question that I say, this is the question of 2015. Are you going to be investing in destiny? Or are you going to be investing in distraction? And you can tune off if you want to, but I mean, it's real talk. It's real talk. Wherever you put your investment in, that's when you see what you need. So ask yourself that question. Are you investing in destiny or are you investing in distraction? The fix is being more intentional with your time, your energy, and your resources. You have to begin to think strategically about it. Do I really need this now, here? You know, and my life has completely changed when I think about in 3 years, going from a job that I really just did not love, creating a business and creating this new life. I've had to let go of a lot of things, socially, stuff, right? And it's amazing the amount of sacrifice, but I love it because I know I'm moving to a new level. So you have to begin to think about what am I willing to give up to get where I want to be? All right, so the next thing, number six is that you just don't have enough energy to make change happen. You have great goals, they're authentic, you know where you are, they're purpose-driven, you have started investing, you've done all the work. And then when it comes time to like go to the next level, you can't because you're exhausted. You're tired, you're sick. This is where the refresh rituals come in. One of the things that we talk about in refresh, when you take any of our courses, when you come to our events, there are 4 core truths that we have, but one of them is called the refresh rituals. Radical self-care. You have to begin to take care of yourself as if you are your most prized possession. And you cannot think about, a lot of women think self-care is indulgence. I'm not talking about grooming yourself like a cat. That is not what I'm talking about, though grooming is part of self-care. I'm talking about being really honest about taking care of yourself. Like, so for example, I've been trying to lose weight for ages. I lost a bunch of weight and then I plateaued and I kind of stayed in this area. But I work out regularly. Why? Because it's for my mind. I try to eat well. I do fall into, more than the occasional cheesecake, which is why I still struggle with the weight. I still have a sugar fix, but I do try to eat more intentionally. And I know whenever I'm eating really well, I can see the difference in my energy level, in what I'm doing, when I'm making things happen. You need to begin to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you won't have the energy. It's like this, your vision board and all that is figuring out where you want to go. It's your destination. And then you create a plan how to get there. That's like your car, or that's like your map. And then you have your car. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to get these resources. I'm going to get this education. If you don't take care of yourself, it's like having the best car, but no fuel in the car. You have to begin to take care of yourself. The more you take care of yourself, the more you develop the energy that you need to create this new life that you want. So that's the fix. The fix is make radical self-care a priority. I posted something on my Instagram and someone asked a question, so I want to answer that question really quickly. So I posted that some of the things that I do as part of my radical self-care, I take supplements. Yes, when you are 41, you take supplements. And I showed just a few of my supplements. So let me name some of the things I do. When I make smoothies, I do turmeric and ginger. I put them in there. I get raw turmeric from the farmer's market. Turmeric is really good for inflammation. I struggle with my knees. Sometimes they are the only part of my body that did not get the memo. Well, they're not the only part of my body, but the only part I'm going to share that didn't get the memo that I am 40 and fabulous. So my knees, I have issues with them sometimes. And I notice that when I put more turmeric in my smoothies, I feel better. The other thing I do, I don't take this every day, but at certain times in the month, particularly cycle related, and I'm talking to women, so you know, I notice mood changes, and there's a hormonal connection to that. And so I started taking 5-HTP. 5-HTP is tryptophan. And of course, there's a lot of the jury's out, people say this and that. But like I said, I used to be a pharmacist. I studied up, read all the studies, and I can testify based on how I feel. I take 5-HTP and it makes me feel better. It's a serotonin precursor. It makes me more able to deal. That's the better thing to say. I don't take it every day. I take vitamin B complex, and like I said, I work out regularly, I swim. These are things that I do for myself. They're not things that I do for an outcome. They're things that I do as part of my radical self-care strategy. So you should have a radical self-care strategy. At the Exhale event that we do, we have women create a Refresh Rituals pledge. And they pledge to themselves at least 3 things that they're going to do as part of their self-care strategy. And I'd like you to do that today. What are the 3 things you're going to start doing now? Now, not in 2015. Now, so that you actually have the energy to create change in 2015. Start thinking about that. How can you start taking care of yourself so that you can be the woman that you want to be? So now let's talk about number 7. We're moving swiftly along. Number 7, because I want to make sure that you are done in time to do, I don't know if it's Scandal or whatever. I don't actually watch those shows. I can't remember last time I watched it, but I want to make sure that you're out in time to watch your shows. So number 7, we talked about a whole bunch of other things, and I'll go over them again. But number 7 reason why a lot of people don't meet their goals is that they are distracted and sedated. I talked about distraction earlier, and I talked about sedation earlier. Now, sometimes we distract ourselves and we sedate ourselves. Excuse me. What was that? All right, I'm having a moment. Sometimes we distract ourselves or we sedate ourselves, but some of us actually are living lives that we're completely distracted. We're completely sedated. If your to-do list is you create a to-do list that is just out of control, you can never cross it off, you are living a distracted life. And I had I'm going to look for it later, but had a great visual. It was like, do not drive drunk. You're essentially driving drunk because you can't focus on where you're going because there's so much going on. There's kids screaming, da, da, da. There's all this happening. How can you possibly expect to be able to get to your goals? You can't, because there's too much happening. Another way we distract ourselves is we say yes to too many things. I'm thinking about myself, and I'm also thinking about some other people I know. Stop saying yes to everything, because you cannot do everything. You will drop all the balls It's okay to say no to some things. That's a source of distraction. Sometimes we fill our lives with so much so that we don't have to deal with what's really going on inside. Another thing that we do is we sedate ourselves. Sometimes, like I just talked about scandal and so on, some people literally live 24/7. I watch TV, I watch a lot of TV. But if you live 24/7 and you literally live in the world of scandal, or you live in the world of Shonda Rhimes, or you live in the world of the Real Housewives. I watch all these things occasionally, but you can't live in the world. If you know more about Nini's life than your own goals, it might be a problem. If you can dissect their characters and all that, you might be a little distracted, a little sedated. The other thing that happens is we have just too much social engagement. So much so that we can't focus. You have to go everywhere at every time. And then you wake up the next year, you haven't really moved forward. And you see other people moving forward, and you're wondering, what's going on? Why am I not moving forward in my life? You can't move forward because you're busy doing 20,000 things. What's the fix? Detox, rehab. Sometimes, you see people, they do social media fasts or things like that. I've never done a social media fast. But you pull back a little bit from some of those things. Maybe you might need to cut the TV watching off for a little bit, and say, I'm going to spend this next week just thinking about my plan for the future. I'm going to spend this next week maybe reading. Maybe you need to say, you know what, this next month I'm going to limit my social engagements. Maybe it's even, I'm going to do less at church, right? I know maybe some church people hearing me might say, what are you talking about? You've got to serve. Yes, you should serve, but you should also serve from your heart, right? And from a place of excellence. If you're overwhelmed, you can't be excellent. So don't be distracted and sedated. That's, the fix is detox. The fix is rehab. So ask yourself, am I living distracted? Am I living sedated? Perhaps that's why I'm not meeting my goals. So we talked about a bunch of things. I want to do a quick recap, right? Quick recap. The first reason why a lot of people struggle with their goals is that their goals are really not their goals. They're not authentic. And the reason why a lot of people do inauthentic goal setting is people pleasing, fear, hidden beliefs, and so on and so forth. Another reason why a lot of people struggle with their goals is that their goals are not purpose directed. Their goals are not attached to their purpose. When you have your purpose, you have your big why. So we need to find our purpose and make sure that our goals, our vision boards, our resolutions, they're attached to our purpose. Another reason why they struggle, number 3, people aren't honest with themselves about who and where they are. You have to own your stuff. You have to face yourself. You have to recognize, this is where I am. I am here. I want to go there, but I am here. There's an acceptance piece that comes along with that. There's a lot of pieces to these points that I'm calling out, but this is only a short Google Hangout, so there's only so much we can do. But I really wanted to get these points so that you can begin to think about these things critically. The 4th thing is that your goals aren't concrete, and I talked about how to make them concrete: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Use the SMART acronym and make your goals. Do they fit these different things? Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they attainable, realistic, and timely? Number 5 reason people have not invested enough. You expect this huge, fantastic, beautiful vision, but you're not willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, you cannot, no matter how amazing your board is, no matter how brilliant your statement sounds, if you're not willing to do the work, to put in the time, to put in sometimes the money, to put in the resources, to get out there and grow yourself, get the education you need, you're not going to see change in your life. I talked about refresh rituals. Sometimes you can't accomplish what you want because you're just exhausted. You need to make radical self-care a priority in your life. Number 7, we're often distracted and sedated. And the fix for that, we just talked about that: detox, rehab. Now, let's talk about number 8. Number 8 is you're resting on your laurels. So you are sitting thinking, oh yeah, I used to be, think about, they always talk about those people that peaked in high school. And they always, they always talk about, you meet that person, they're always having that story about 10 years ago, gosh, I did that. I scored the winning goal, or whatever the case was. I was homecoming queen. You can rest on your laurels. Have you crushed your laurels? That's the question. Have you crushed your laurels? Do not rest on them. You have to go and get new ones every day. Set new goals. You have to have a growth mindset. So a growth mindset is, I always want to be better than I was yesterday. I'm not competing with anybody but myself, but I always want to be better than I was yesterday. So I'm always going to be looking for a new level. A growth mindset means that you're always comfortable with being uncomfortable. A growth mindset knows that I'm going to go in what they call the learning cycle, where you go from being consciously competent, like I know what I know, to consciously incompetent, because you're like, oh, well, consciously competent, unconsciously incompetent. I don't know what I don't know. Then consciously incompetent. Wow, gosh, I really don't know much about this. I don't like the way that feels, but I have a growth mindset, so I'm going to work hard. I'm going to figure it out, and then I'm going to become consciously competent. And then guess what? I'm going to do it all over again, because I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep being a better person. Now, you want a growth mindset. The opposite of a growth mindset, in my opinion, is a stuck mindset. So a good way to look at a growth mindset is a growth mindset uses every opportunity it can to grow. So if someone comes to me and they're criticizing me, I hate criticism. As my loved ones will tell you, I don't love it. I have learned to use it, though, as a valuable tool. I've learned to use it as data. So I'll use it as data. I'll go back and I'll reflect on it. Now, sometimes doesn't mean that I accept just any old thing people throw on me and say to me and just all kinds of craziness. No, but I will use whatever comes my way as data, as a filter, as an opportunity for me to grow, because I want to grow. My one goal, my main goal, is to be better than I was yesterday. A stuck mindset will use every excuse not to grow. I don't like the way you said it. It's not just what you said, it's how you said it. Listen, it's your life. Stop worrying about how somebody said something to you. Figure out whether there's some truth in it and grow. You have to grow. You can set all the goals you want. You can have a great vision board. You can say whatever you want to say. You can type #winning, #boss chicks till you die. If you don't have a growth mindset, you will not become the woman you were born to be. That's just truth. You have to begin to think about consciously and intentionally seeking the better, higher you at all times. Okay, so that was number 8, resting on your laurels. And the fix was get a growth mindset. Number 9, you get discouraged because you don't really track your progress. So I was talking to someone a little while ago. Can't remember where. I think it was one of the refresh events. And she was sharing with me her journey. And she said to me, gosh, I was doing so well earlier this year. I think she was talking about working out and stuff. I was doing so well earlier this year. And then I never saw any change on the scale. And I just got discouraged. And I quit. And she was really upset with herself. And I told her, just forgive yourself and don't stop starting. Just go. And I forget. That's what I tell myself every day. Forgive yourself. Don't stop starting. Keep moving. Keep trying. Every day, get up and do it again. So, but I was thinking about that and how we don't track our progress, or we only look at one marker as a marker of progress. So, for example, let's say you start a business. And this is like a holistic woman thing, right? So you're a woman, you started a business, and maybe you started a business, you have been married a year or so, and you had a baby. And everything kind of happened in the space of 2 years. Or you're a mom already, and your kid is in 2nd grade or something. And you started a business, and you see other people, and they've moved, their businesses are way ahead of yours, it seems, right? They're making tons more money. And you see them on social media all the time, like, yeah. I'm being flown here by this client and this is happening and they're speaking everywhere and it just feels as if they're doing all this great stuff and you start feeling like, gosh, I suck. What am I doing with my life? You're not tracking your progress properly. Because, and this is why this is important. If you get into that mindset, you will stop altogether and you'll become so discouraged, you'll just give up. You have to begin to track your progress from a holistic perspective. So yeah, maybe you're not making as much as the next person, but your kid, maybe they needed a little extra mom time this semester, right? Maybe they struggled with a learning disability. Maybe your husband needed you more. Maybe your mother needed you more. Maybe you needed you more, right? Look at your progress from a holistic perspective. You cannot continue to track your progress using just one marker of success. You have to look at it all. So think about, maybe this area wasn't so great right now, but this other area was great. So I'm going to look at the two things, weigh it all, and you know what? I'm not doing as badly as I thought. I will work on this area and I will figure out what I need to do to get that under control and make that shine and make that great. But I'm not going to beat myself up because I have a whole life that I have to lead. And it's not just one thing, it's everything. So adequately and properly track your progress. I'm going to put up some slides. I'll put together some slides. If you want, send me an email at ekene@refreshwithekene.com and I'll send you the slides. We'll do that, right? If you send me an email, I'll send you the slides. What else? Okay, so number 10. We're down to 10. See, and we're close to 8 o'clock, so I'm doing good. So number 10, the number 10 reason why people struggle. You don't have a community of power. I have been talking about community, 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 because it is one of the most important things you can do to create the life that you want. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around the most. That's not my saying. That's, I think, Jim Rome, and then a lot of other people have echoed it in different ways. If you want to see your future, look at the people that you're hanging with. Because you will become that. If you are the smartest person in that room, guess what? You're going to eventually dumb down. You always want to try to be intentional about your group, your community. This is not to say that you get rid of people. No, your community, you have a broad community and it's great. Your community is going to be made up of your family, your friends, all kinds of people. But a community of power is a community that is ready, willing, and able to move you forward in the direction of your goals. So you want to make sure that you have the people you can call when you say, hey, like an advisory board, hey, can you, introduce me to XYZ, or I'm looking for some solutions in this. Talk to successful people. You see that they have that. They have mentors. They have people they can ask for, hey, you know what? We really want to expand in this area and we're looking for funding. And the people that are super successful, they actually have people who can pick up the phone and say, yeah. Let me send you over to talk to this person. Begin to be more intentional about your community. Be strategic. Now, I am not suggesting social climbing or mercenary transactional behavior. That is not building a community. That is using people. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm saying build a community, build relationships, offer value, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't take no's personally. Build a relationship. Communities are built. They don't happen overnight. They don't happen at networking. Here's my card. And then all of a sudden you're in community. No, communities happen in time when you've invested. Got to go back to investing. You've shown that you care. You've supported their projects. You've checked into what they're doing, right? And then they can do the same and you're open to them doing it back to you. So build your communities. Be intentional about your community of power. So now I wanted to tell you guys about these 10 things. And the reason why I want to tell you about these 10 things is that 2015 for me, and I declare it, right, and I invite you to declare it with me, is going to be my best year yet. I'm so excited about 2015. I feel like I've gotten a lot of stuff. I have turned a corner. I'm moving to the next level. I am determined to do my work. I'm building my community of power. I have counted my cost. I have gotten real with myself about where I am. I am purpose directed. I'm focusing on radical self care. And so I know that 2015 is going to be my best year yet. And I really want to invite you to two things, two experiences that I have coming up that I know will be helpful to you. We have something called the Jumpstart Experience. If you go to refreshwithekene.com, I'm going to type it into the chat box, refreshwithekene.com. If you go to refreshwithekene.com what am I saying? Lord help me. refreshwithekene.com/classes. Classes. You go over to my tab, it says experiences, and then you click, the drop down says classes, masterminds, etc. Click on that, and you will get the information for our Jumpstart experience. Our Jumpstart experience is starting January 19th. And I am super excited about it. Why? Because all the things we talked about, we're going to go deep into it. Deep dive into those hidden beliefs, get you into a place where you're self-aware and not self-conscious. We're going to figure out what your natural flow is, what makes you tick, how do you get from A to B in a way that is beautiful and holistic and just fabulous, right? We're going to work on that. We're going to be working on your vision and your purpose and getting all those things in alignment. We're going to be working on helping you develop your community of power. We're even going to have a segment talking about your triple Ps, how to really make your life fantastic. So go to the refreshwithekene.com/classes, and then you can see the Jumpstart experience. And if you go ahead and book it now, register now, you get to take advantage of early bird pricing, which will only be on till December 25th, Christmas Day. After Christmas, it's going to regular pricing. So I want to encourage you to go there, handle your business now so that 2015 can be your best year yet. Second thing I want to tell you about, we are going to St. Martin. Yes, we're going to St. Martin in May. It's going to be so fabulous. And it's just this incredible experience. I'm so excited. St. Martin is beautiful, has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. You can go over to St. Bart's, you can go over to Antigua. We're having our first Refresh weekend retreat, and it is going to be powerful. The theme is fearless leading and fearless living. Who doesn't want to live that way? And we have, in fact, today I just had a meeting with one of our guest speakers. She is amazing. And she is coming all the way to impart her knowledge about sales, systems, and strategy. And then we have Sarah, who's going to be with us, and her specialty is positive psychology. She's going to be imparting her knowledge on transformational communication. If you have been having issues with your team, with your husband, with your man, with your kids, communication is often the thread that if you fix that, you can fix any relationship. We have a whole segment on transformational communication. We're going to be talking about breaking through your boundaries. Imagine just being on a catamaran. Don't just imagine it. It's going to be happening in May. So if you go to refreshlifelead.com, you can register. You can put a deposit down and hold your space. We have a limited amount of people that we can take with us. And we want to make sure that the women that are coming are really just ready to break through to the next level. So you're going to be on a catamaran, a leadership sail. Imagine being on a catamaran with your champagne and your beautiful caftan. And then you can go snorkeling. And then when you go snorkeling, we will lead you in a signature refresh workshop that is so interactive and fun. I told you there was champagne involved, right? And when you have this workshop, you're going to learn how to break through all the boundaries that are holding you back. I'm super excited. I can't say enough about it. This is not really a promo for this. I just wanted to let you know what we had coming through the pipeline. Like I said, that's May 1st to May 3rd in St. Martin. So go to refreshlifelead.com and you can get more information about that. Before that, January 19th, we're starting the 6-week Jumpstart experience. refreshwithekene.com/classes, or just go to refreshwithekene.com and you can click the experience link and you'll see all the information about this. You absolutely have to be there. You have to go through this jumpstart experience so that you can connect to the best of yourself and you can make 2015 your best year yet. So listen, I said that I would be on this hangout for an hour, 8 p.m. I threatened the kids. I said, listen, don't knock on my door. 8 o'clock. And if you know my daughter, you know that 8 o'clock on the dot, she's probably out there like this, ready. So I said I'd get off at 8 because I wanted to make sure that I shared all the information with you guys. And like I said, I'm going to have the slides posted. I'll send it to you if you send me an email, or if you join my group, my list. If you go onto my list, my website, refreshwithekina.com, there is a tab that says join my community. If you join my community today, I will go ahead and send it out to everyone tomorrow so that everyone on my community will get the list anyway. You'll be part of that great community. I send out a lot of information that is helpful and just stuff that's going on that I think that you would love to know about. It's all about refreshing your life and feeling great and feeling fabulous. And remember, it is about a holistic success plan. It's not just about money. It's not just about looks. It's not just about health. It's not just about love. It's about the combination of all of these things and how they connect to one another. It's about community. It's about feeling free to make your own decisions about what works for you. It's a customized experience that you should be living, a couture life. So I invite you to join me on these two things, the Jumpstart experience, which is completely virtual, and then in May, come with me to St. Martin so that we can just, luxuriate together. It's just, I really cannot tell you. I really am going to work on being bikini ready for that. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Connect with me again on refreshwithekina.com so that we can stay connected. We have a couple of events coming up in Atlanta, DC, Toronto, and possibly London. If you're in London, shoot me a mail and convince me. I am planning to come. We haven't finalized, but yes, this year we're going. Next year, I said, 2015 is going to be our best year yet. So I thank you for taking the time to join me. I know that it's not easy on a weeknight, so I appreciate you. And remember, you can always go back to YouTube and watch this. God bless you. Be well.